Fun fact, guys, the shirt I'm wearing right now is a shirt that we last saw Arsenal wear the last time we were in the Champions League. That was 2017, 7 years ago. The Arsenal are back. We're here. Champions League group stage predictions. Let's get into it. Guys, it feels good to be back, man. It feels good to be back. The Arsenal are back in the Champions League, but of course, we're here to predict all the group stages, all the groups. Look, bias aside for this, we're going to be totally realism predictions. So let's get into it. Smash that button. If you disagree with any of my predictions, leave your predictions down below for yourselves. And I'd love to hear your predictions down below. But yeah, let's get right into it with Group A. Group A, we've got Bayern München, of course. We avoided Bayern Munich, but we've got Bayern Munich, Manchester United, Copenhagen of Denmark, and Galatasaray of Turkey. Now, guys, this group, I've been trying to wrap my head around this. It can go a number of ways. I'm going to talk about each individual team. Bayern Munich, as we know, we start with them. Unstoppable. Yeah, absolutely unstoppable when it comes to the UEFA Champions League group stages in particular. Yeah. I think they've got a crazy stat, and someone can let me know in the comment section, but I can't remember off the top of my head, but they are unbeaten in the group stages at home or something like that. It's a crazy one of those crazy stats. They haven't lost a group stage game at home in years. So they're pretty unstoppable at home. And in terms of getting out of the group, you'll never see Bayern get group, mate. Yeah. So when it comes to group stages, they are actually unstoppable. I guess it's a different story when it comes to the knockouts, but group stages, Bayern Munich, absolutely unstoppable. And under Thomas Tuchel, he's just signed, of course, Harry Kane, sort of their Robert Lewandowski replacement. Kim Min-jae at the back, very, very good signing. Obviously, they still got players like Thomas Müller, Jamal Musiala, Serge Gnabry, Leroy Sane. They have lost Benjamin Pavard, a key defender for them. But yeah, Bayern Munich. Let's just put it that way. And I don't feel bad for Man United fans because they deserve what's going to come and what they're going to get against Bayern Munich. So yeah, Bayern Munich for me are going to walk through this group. No disrespect to the two other teams, Copenhagen and Galatasaray, but Bayern Munich are going to actually walk through this group, in my opinion. Manchester United, obviously, they ain't that great. Let's be real with it. And we've already seen Ten Hag in Europe with them so far. Last season, they was in the Europa League, and Sevilla knocked them out. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they beat Barcelona, but Sevilla knocked them out, and they didn't win the Europa League under Ten Hag last season. So honestly, guys, I was so close and predicting them to finish third and go back down to Europa League because they can easily slip up here. And I got a feeling they could slip up because they're really not that good, Man United. They are really not that good. And yeah, since decades, the highest I've got in Champions League is quarterfinals, but they have never been grouped. So hence why I'm going to, well, I'll see my prediction in a minute, but I think they're going to scrape through, guys. Man United will scrape through this group. In terms of Galatasaray, they've been doing the business in the transfer window. They signed Icardi. They got that front three, by the way, of Icardi, Hakim Ziyech from Chelsea, Wilfred Zaha, of course, from Crystal Palace. That front three is deadly. You can play in behind them. They can have, of course, Dries Mertens, the former Napoli Belgium striker, who can play at sort of centre forward. Dries Mertens is quality as well. A special mention as well to Lucas Torreira, former Arsenal player as well, who's been doing really well for them over there. So Galatasaray, honestly, I believe, could make out this group, in my opinion. In terms of Copenhagen, unfortunately, I don't see them getting any success in this group whatsoever. Yeah, sorry, Copenhagen fans. But yeah, listen to my prediction, guys. I've gone with Bayern Munich first, Man United second, Copenhagen to finish rock bottom, Galatasaray to get third. Now, that second and third, guys, I was so tempted to switch it around. But just now, Man United, I feel like they're going to scrape it, guys. Bayern Munich will walk through it, but Man United are going to scrape this group, guys. It could come down to the final game. And it could come down to Man United being Galatasaray to actually go through to the knockouts because they'll put up a very good fight, Galatasaray. And I was very tempted to change my prediction and put Galatasaray second. But I'm going to stick with Man United second and Galatasaray getting Europa League. Simple as that. Group B. Look, guys, look who's in this one. Come on, the Gunners. Up the Gunners. Arsenal. Arsenal. It's like a Europa League group, honestly. And fun fact, 3 teams played in Europa League last season called Sevilla, the winners of Europa League. Arsenal in the same group with PSV, and they did beat us away from home 2-0, and we beat them 1-0 at home. Obviously, we got knocked out by Sporting Lisbon. I can't remember who PSV got knocked out by. But obviously, and of course, RC Lens, who shocked everyone last season in Ligue 1. I think they finished literally a point off of PSG. They had a fantastic season and they definitely deserve to be in Champions League. They have lost one of their key players, RC Lens, in Fofana. And I think they lost. No, I think they just signed that new striker, Montpellier. I think he scored Waihi or something, who scored quite a lot of goals. So definitely watch out for him. But they have lost Openda as well, who is a very good striker for them. And also obviously Fofana. I don't really want to underestimate Lens too much. In terms of PSV, they have lost some of their good players. Of course, Cody Gakpo went to Liverpool, as we know. Xavi Simons is a massive loss for them. He's at RB Leipzig. They have signed some new players in there as well. They signed these 3 American players. I think Pepe, Sergio Dest as well is signed for them. And they signed this other guy as well. I forgot. I think it's Tillman as well. They signed. So they have signed some good players. They have lost Sangari, who is a good midfielder for them, to Nottingham Forest, as we know. So they have lost some of their good players, PSV, than they had last season when they beat us 2-0. And also in terms of Sevilla, Europa League Masters always win Europa League, and they might do a masterclass and drop down to Europa League. But let's talk about Arsenal. Yeah, the first time we're back in the Champions League since 2017. I'm confident that we should be topping this group. We should be winning every single game pretty much. I think we all maybe drop points here and there, especially away from home. And we know our European success is not that great. Even in the Europa League, we couldn't win the Europa League. We struggled to beat teams like Sporting Lisbon, Olympiacos, Villarreal. So yeah, I do see us topping the group. I'm gonna sit with Arsenal topping the group. This is my prediction here, guys. Arsenal to finish first. I've gone Sevilla to drop down to Europa League and finish third. I'm probably going to win the Europa League. I want PSV to get second because they was very, very good in the qualifiers. I think they battered Rangers 5-1. Definitely a team, and they had a great season last season as well, finishing above Ajax in the Eredivisie. I don't really want to underestimate them too much, but Lens, I see finishing fourth. This group can be really, really tight. I think this group will be very, very tight, but I just see Arsenal coming out on top, PSV second, Sevilla third. They're having a financial difficulty. I think they're in a relegation battle. I could be wrong in La Liga. The last time I checked, Lens getting full flow for me. All right, next group. We've got Napoli, Real Madrid, of course, Braga of Portugal, and Union Berlin of Germany. Union Berlin, I'm pretty sure, making their Champions League debut, right? So, yeah, good luck to them. Now, of course, Napoli have lost Lucio Spalletti. He's now my country's Forza Italia, by the way. He's obviously our national team manager now. And yeah, so they obviously lost Spalletti, but they have kept hold of their main players. They have kept hold of Kisa Kvaratskhelia. Probably butchered his name, as I always do. But yeah, they have kept hold of Kvaratskhelia. They have kept hold of Victor Osimhen as well. They did get rid of Lozano. He's gone PSV. I forgot to mention him. I think he's gone PSV now. Back to PSV. Kim Min-jae as well also has left for them, but they've still got a very, very strong squad, Napoli, and I can see them definitely not getting groups at all. No disrespect to the 2 other teams, but yeah. And in terms of Real Madrid, I know they've lost quite a lot of their players. They have signed some players as well. Obviously, Kepa in goal. Andre Güler from Turkey. It's Turkish wonder kid from Fenerbahce they signed. They signed Joselu. I don't see him replacing Benzema whatsoever. They still got, of course, Vinny Jr. Real Madrid in the Champions League. You can never, ever write them off. So, therefore, in terms of Braga as well, they had a fantastic Europa League run last season. Definitely an underrated team. And big up to them for making the Champions League as well. Union Berlin on their debut. I don't see them. No disrespect to Union Berlin, but this is what I've gone with, guys. Real Madrid to top the group, Napoli to finish second, Braga to get Europa League, and Union Berlin to get fourth. Sorry, Union Berlin fans, but I just see Braga beating you guys and getting third. Real Madrid and Napoli will walk through this group, in my opinion. All right, Group D. We've got Benfica, Inter Milan, Salzburg of Austria, Real Sociedad of Spain, of course. Yeah, now this group is very hard to predict. You know, Salzburg, they have some very good young players that they seem to develop all the time. They are very underrated side, Salzburg. Real Sociedad, they recently just signed Kieran Tierney from Arsenal. They've got some great players as well. They are another underrated side, of course. Inter Milan, the finalists of last Champions League. They just lost out now to Manchester City. Benfica, who topped the group above PSG, didn't they, last season as well? So, yeah, they're the number underrated side. However, Benfica and Inter Milan obviously met last season, and Inter Milan did knock them out to get to the final. So yeah, guys, this is gonna be a tough group to predict. Obviously, Inter Milan just signed Pavard from Bayern Munich, very good signing for them. They just signed Alexis Sanchez is back at Inter Milan now. They've still kept hold of players like Barella in their squads. Martinez will be up front for them. So yeah, they've still got a very, and of course Benfica. They've got players like Rafa Silva, who's quality. They just signed Di Maria again, Benfica. Yeah, so they look very, very strong as well, Benfica. But for me, my prediction, guys, I've gone with Benfica to top the group. I've got a feeling that they're going to top the group like they did last season. They always seem to do well in the group stages, Benfica, and then it gets to knockouts. They don't really carry that over to knockouts. I got Inter Milan definitely making out. I do not see Inter Milan getting grouped at all in this group. Now these two, fourth and third, is very, very tough. I've gone with Sociedad to get Europa League and Salzburg to get fourth, but it could go either way in my opinion. Next up, we've got Feyenoord, of course, the Dutch champions last season. Their manager could have gone to Tottenham, but he stayed loyal. But yes, this Feyenoord side, very underrated. They're on some fantastic form. Of course, last season, they absolutely walked that Eredivisie. 100% deserve to be in this Champions League. Atletico Madrid, Diego Simeone, big fan of him as a manager. They do not want to remember what happened last season. They finished fourth. They got destroyed in that Champions League group. They didn't even make Europa League, Atletico Madrid. Lazio as well. Now, for fun fact, guys, Lazio and Feyenoord actually played each other last season in Europa League, and they Lazio won at home and Feyenoord won at home. They both won against each other in both the games they played. But that group finished all on 8 points in Europa League last season. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how those two come up against each other, because Lazio losing Milinkovic-Savic as well, so massive loss for them. And obviously Celtic, obviously have a new manager, don't they? They still have Brendan Rodgers. He's gone there now. The atmosphere at Celtic is obviously world class in it, so that they can use that to their advantage, I would say, especially on their home days. But yeah, this is what I've gone with. I've gone with Diego Simeone's men, Atletico Madrid, to finish first. I've gone with Feyenoord to finish second, Lazio to get Europa League, and Celtic to unfortunately finish fourth. I think Simeone knows what happened last season. You know, Atletico, they are not going to get grouped in this. There's no way. Anything can happen, but there's no way. You know, they're going to get top of the group. Feyenoord, I've gone as an underrated team to actually make it out and go through to knockout stages. Lazio missing out because I think losing one of their best players, who was very vital for them in Milinkovic-Savic, who went to Saudi Arabia, will be the key for them. You know, there's what Immobile. They also lost, I think, Jocelyn Carrera as well. He's gone to Inter Milan, so they have lost a few of their players. Lazio, they had a great season last season under Sarri, but I see them getting Europa League. And Celtic, unfortunately, missing out completely and getting bottom of the group. All right, now the one everyone's been waiting for, the group of death. The group. Look at this group, man. Absolute crazy group. Paris Saint-Germain, Borussia Dortmund, AC Milano, and Newcastle. This group can go either way. I'll tell you something now. This group can go anywhere, man. It can go anywhere whatsoever. Of course, let's start with PSG. Luis Enrique. He's a quality manager. He's a class manager. He's been in this position so many times before. You know, he's a Champions League winner with Barcelona. Um, he's got that experience in this big level in the Champions League for PSG. They just signed Ramos. They just signed Colin Mawani. They obviously signed Asensio. They have a whole revamp. They got rid of Messi, obviously. Messi left. Neymar's left now. And Mbappe stayed loyal to them. Well, not, well, I don't really know what. Mbappe stayed. Let's just say that, yeah. Mbappe stayed for them. They still got obviously Donnarumma in goal. They got rid of Sergio Ramos. He's gone now. He's a free agent. Obviously they still got the likes of Nuno Mendes, Norm Mensch. They still got Hakimi. I think PSG should be fine. As always, you know, I do not see them getting grouped at all. But they could. In terms of Borussia Dortmund, they know obviously they've lost some of their key players. I mean, the main one, as we all know, Jude Bellingham. I forgot to mention him when I talk about Real Madrid, but yeah, Jude Bellingham, guys, obviously has left for them now, and they've had a very, very poor start, Borussia Dortmund, in the Bundesliga so far. So yeah, they are not looking that great. AC Milan, or obviously AC Milan in it, you know. They just signed Christian Pulisic, and I think he'll do really well at AC Milan. Of course, they've still got players like Tio Hernandez. They no longer have, and it'd be interesting to see Sandro Tonali against his former club for Newcastle. They got rid of Sandro Tonali. It's a big miss for them, but AC Milan have that heritage. They have that mentality when it comes to the Champions League. And obviously Newcastle back in the Champions League for ages. It's good for them to be back. I'm actually happy that they're back, and they do deserve it. You know, Newcastle do deserve it based off last season. Of course, they signed some quality players in Sandro Tonali, as we just mentioned. They still got Alexander Isak up front. They've got Harvey Barnes now. We see how he does in the Champions League. Bruno Guimaraes is, of course, always been his dream to play in the Champions League as well. So it's good for him. And oh man, this group is so hard to predict. But I've gone with this. I've gone Dortmund to finish fourth. By the way, I think they're going to have an absolute nightmare. PSG will get first. I've gone AC Milan to get second. It's between Newcastle, man. You could have quite easily put Newcastle second, but I've gone with AC Milan to get second. Newcastle missing out, unfortunately, and guessing third place. But yeah, Dortmund for me, I'm going to have an absolute nightmare. This group is going to be so entertaining. I can't wait for it. And that is what I've gone with. All right, we have got Group G. Why do Man City always get the easy group? Yeah, Manchester City, I swear, always get the easiest group. Honestly, all the time they get the easiest group. But yeah, Leipzig. To be fair, I think they beat. No, I don't think they beat them game of last season against Man City. Obviously, Man City and Leipzig, they always draw each other. Leipzig, they want some good form at the moment. They just signed obviously Xavi Simons, very good signing for them. They're building up a nice squad there, and they got a decent manager as well. RB Leipzig. You know, Man City, the holders, they want to try and retain their Champions League title under Pep Guardiola, as we know. They've just been signing some new players, Jeremy Doku, Nunez from Wolves as well. You know, and add on Erling Haaland, as we know. Julian Alvarez, Kevin De Bruyne, like the list goes on and on and on of the quality that Man City have. RB Leipzig, as I said, always seem to do well. Well, not really. I mean, sometimes they finish third and go Europa League, but yeah, I think they'll be fine in this group. Red Star Belgrade, of course, the Serbians, very, very hostile atmosphere. Yeah, Man City are gonna hate it. Yeah, going away to Serbia. We had to go, asked us to go there a few years ago to play Red Star Belgrade, and I think we drew 0-0. The atmosphere was hostile. It's a horrible place to go to, and they're underrated side in my opinion as well. Last season they were shocking. I think they finished fourth in Europa League, in their group. So yeah, they're very poor in Europa League, but it's going away to their at home they'll be fine, but going away, the hostile atmosphere, their fans are crazy. Young Boys, what a name for a team. Obviously are there as well. I'm not too keen about them. Could they cause a few upsets? Probably not. But yeah, in its order, guys, I don't have to put any first, second, or third because we know the order. Man City first, Leipzig second, Red Star third, and Young Boys fourth. All right, final group. We've got Barcelona, Porto. I'm going to just put it straight out here, guys. Porto, Barcelona, Shakhtar, Royal Antwerp. Obviously, Royal Antwerp making their debut of the Champions League, so good luck to them. Shakhtar Donetsk of Ukraine. Obviously, they usually in the same group with Real Madrid, aren't they? And they actually beat them a few years ago when they had De Zerbi as a manager. Obviously, they got rid of players like Mudryk. I think they got some good players still, like Marlos, who plays for them. If you guys know Marlos, I think he's pretty quality in my opinion, the Brazilian. But yeah, obviously for Porto, I put them first, guys, because I think they still got to. Have they still kept Madi Taremi? They've got Otafo as well. Actually, I think he's left. All the players that are good for Porto, I think they've gone, but I could be wrong. If they still got Taremi, then they're going to get first, because we're Barcelona, and I put them second, right? And they are going to make out the group because of the two other teams below them, right? I have this thing with Xavi, yeah. He does not make me confident for Barcelona. We go and look back at the two games. Obviously, last season is a prime example. They got grouped. Barcelona got grouped, and they was in Europa League last season. And even Xavi's first season, they got grouped again because they drew with Benfica. If he would have beat Benfica, they would have gone through. And once again, he failed in the Europa League against Frankfurt, and he failed in Europa League against Man United. There's this tendency of Xavi when it comes to European success. He ain't that great as a manager, of course. I ain't taking anything because Xavi's one of the best players I've ever seen, play in my lifetime. But as a manager, when it comes to the Champions League and European, he has this tendency to bottle it, in my opinion. However, La Liga, they were superb. They just signed some new players. They got Joao Cancelo, Joao Felix to strengthen their squad. They're going to be fine. They're going to make out the group. But I do see Porto causing an upset, and I do see Porto maybe drawing against Barca. Barca beating them, but then Barca dropping points elsewhere, and Porto to top the group. And no disrespect to your other two teams, I don't really know a lot about Antwerp. It is their debut in the Champions League, so I said all the best to them. Shakhtar Donetsk, they always seem to get third and drop down to Europa League, so that's why I put them there. But that is it, guys. That is all the UCL predictions. Look forward to it starting, of course, guys. Arsenal going to win the UCL. I'm out of here. Ciao.